Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Save. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. I am going to suggest that you watch this video till the end. And before I get into this video, a very big shout out to these beautiful sisters because sometimes when things are happening, there are people that know a lot of things that can also come out and chip in the ones they know. And that also will make you understand that you as a black person is on the right track. Right? So she started by saying that the KKK never existed, not until black people successfully escaped physical chains of chattel slavery, right? Why she said that? She also meant that though they escaped that, I mean, that doesn't mean that everything, like, they escaped other things, right? Because there were still other things um, out there suppressing them. That is the white supremacy, right? Now, why going through all this video? I don't know why I also had to link this to Africans. Why a lot of people have refused to understand or see history from the eyes of a black person. That's why I always have problem with people that do not understand history, especially Africans or migrants that are so quick to talk about history without understanding history, or because they are seeing history from the eyes of the oppressor. And the worst thing that will happen to any human being and someone that look like me is to see history from the eyes of his or her oppressors. Let's get into this video.
The KKK did not exist until Black people successfully escaped the physical chains of chattel slavery. But that doesn't mean that escaping the physical chains of chattel slavery was a failure and that white supremacy won. The KKK was created because white supremacy was losing. Mass incarceration didn't exist as we know it today until the civil rights movement was passed and Black people and everyone who helped us successfully defeated Jim Crow. The creation of mass incarceration did not signify the failure of the defeat of Jim Crow. Mass incarceration came because of the defeat of Jim Crow, but it does not, what's the word? It does not invalidate the defeat of Jim Crow. When the first woman ran in the Boston Marathon, men physically harassed her all the way to the finish line. But her reaching the finish line and running the marathon in the first place is not invalidated by the backlash to her success. Now we have women of all colors, all nationalities, all religions, and all ages living their grandmother's wildest dreams. And what we are seeing is a backlash. We are seeing a rise in alt-right ideologies. We are seeing a rise in male rage, patriarchal rage. There is a backlash against the career woman. There is a push to return to this trad wife ideal where women were wearing the soft chains of marriage slavery because that's what marriage was originally intended for. But that backlash, this backlash that is happening, this attempted rise at fascism, because it won't take hold. It will not grow roots, I promise you. And that's a whole nother conversation about why it won't. But this rise of alt-right ideology isn't happening because we're losing. It is happening because this is the natural response to progress. Anytime an oppressed group wins a battle, the oppressors wage a war, but the oppressors never win. In World War II, leading up to World War II, the average German citizen was piss poor, broke as hell, because of everything that happened after World War One. They blamed it all on Germany, which really wasn't fair to Germany, to be completely honest with you. It was a whole thing. We won't get into the historical nuances of that. But the average German was poor. The average Jew was thriving. The Holocaust and Nazism was a reaction to Jewish people thriving. But despite the amount of people that suffered and the sheer magnitude of that suffering, that did not invalidate Jewish excellence. All it did was delay the inevitable, which is that Jewish people will continue to thrive and do continue to thrive until this day. You can't confuse the backlash to progress as the continuation of old systems of power. It is the dying of old systems of power, not the birth. Dying and birth often look the very same, and you have to have the discernment to know what you're looking at when you're looking at it. Anytime I see a video of people talking about the rise of fascism and how they're just so disturbed and how we're backsliding, I scroll because it is extremely misleading, and someone who doesn't have a good understanding of history would believe them without asking any questions. It is not a backslide. What is happening right now is not a backslide. It is quite the opposite. This backlash is happening because we are doing the opposite of backsliding. Barack Obama won the presidency. Wasn't old enough to vote for him the first time, but I sure as hell voted for him the second time. Does the presence of Trump mean that there was a backslide? No. The presence of Trump is the very predictable backlash to Obama. But does that invalidate all of the progress we made under Obama? Does that invalidate all of the progress that Barack Obama symbolized? No. White Americans are punishing us with Trump, a decade of Trump, because we move forward. We keep moving forward. When, how do I put this? When a collective as big as humanity pushes forward in their evolutionary tract, there's going to be natural resistance. That natural resistance does not mean that we should despair and give up hope and assume that, oh, well, we're facing an obstacle. I guess we should just stop. I guess this means we have to turn around and go back. I feel like young people in this generation don't know what it is to fight for what is right and to move forward regardless and to have hope, because hope is their only option. Luckily, the majority of us who were born in the 80s and later have never had to have a whole lot of hope because we were born in relative peacetime. We weren't old enough to really face the brunt of the AIDS epidemic or the drugs epidemic in the 80s or the violence. What is happening right now is par for the course, and based on pretty much every single era of human history, we won't lose if we keep moving forward. They will. They always lose. Elon Musk is having a worse year in the first 3 months of 2025 than Drake had in all of 2024. What is happening with Musk and Trump? The amount of people who hate them, viscerally hate them. These town halls, these red hat Republicans even want to cut their fucking throats. That is not what it looks like when you're winning. What it looks like when you're winning is when a bunch of people are trying to hold you back from the finish line, which is us. That is us. Women are outpacing men in every fucking category other than murder and violent crime. Of course they're going to be mad. Of course they're going to try to get you to go back to being their slaves. Wives. Brood mares. This is what it looks like when you're winning. When you're in class and another kid is cheating off of your test, are they cheating off of you because you're stupid? Or are they doing the wrong thing because you're smart and they're trying to ride your coattails? If you were running a race in track and field and the person behind you tried to trip you up, are they tripping you up because you're losing? or are they tripping you up because you're winning? I just think we need to maintain some perspective and zoom out, look at this from a high level, and understand that people don't try to sabotage losers, because losers sabotage themselves. People try to sabotage winners, and the saboteur does not invalidate the victor. They always invalidate themselves in the long run. And let me just say this also. When you have a group of people who can only ever win if they rig the game, when you have a group of people who can only feel good about themselves when they're standing on top of other people, you already have them beat. You just don't know it yet. They do. They know it. Like Cat Williams said, liars act weird around you because they know the lie they told. You might not know it, but they know it. Just act like you know something, man. Like, we're on the right track. We're not backsliding into fucking fascism. Like, relax. We are doing exactly what we were always meant to be doing, which is moving forward and perpetuating the evolution of humanity for our children and our children's children and our descendants on down the line. If we were losing, they wouldn't be so worried about entrenching the rigged system. This system's about to fall. You mark my words.
Black people are going to make it, y'all. Earlier this week, I preemptively said in one of my videos that Black people were going to survive, that we were going to make it, that we were going to thrive, no matter what this administration throws out. Like, I just knew it down in my shondo, but this video right here gave me the historic context that I needed for that feeling, for that knowing that I had. Mel reminds us that one of the most vitriolic hate groups ever to be formed only formed after Black people achieved our physical liberation, after the massive human trafficking event known as enslavement. And then Reconstruction happened. Black folks who at one point weren't allowed to read educated themselves and each other, started running for offices, and started to win. And of course that immediately scared the bigots, who instead of fighting fair fights, have to do what they do. Instill violence, instill fear, chase people away, cheat wherever possible. Not much has changed. If we look a little later in history, we see the same playbook after the Civil Rights Act, and a lot of the hateful legislation that folks had to live with after the Civil Rights Act came in direct response to our people getting free of Jim Crow. The same Jim Crow that certain folks with the tiny mustache man learned and picked up from the United States and took back over to Europe and terrorized so many people. The hateful playbook, y'all. It's always the same. So that's why a lot of us aren't surprised at the rollback of segregation, the restriction of education, the removal of our history from being taught in school, the erasure of our heroes from government websites. We're not surprised, but we're also not upset. A lot of us know that when they start acting like that, they're not showing any might. They're not showing any strength. What they're showing is cowardice. Because how scared do you have to be to delete heroes of this nation just because they don't look like you? How terrified do you have to be to remove books about natural hair, Black love, and Black joy because they don't center you? But when you see efforts like that happening, it's a reminder of Black progress, that we've come so far and that we've done so much, and that we will keep going far, and that we will keep doing much. And all their hateful efforts do is just remind us that even if we don't know who we are, they do. So let's act like we know who we are.
Segregation, there's no way I could not jump on here before I jump on a plane to tell y'all about my grandfather. Very dramatically on Sunday morning, he used to say, "Hell you, as far as I can see, integration has been the downfall of the Black man." That was his hypothesis. My grandfather used to talk about this for years before he passed. My grandfather was the principal of the Black high school in Wiggins, Mississippi. It was called Locker High School. My mom went to school there. I think my grandmother was a teacher there, and my grandfather was the principal. When integration came, he became the vice principal, which was a demotion. to the integrated school, but I'll never forget how he used to talk and talk and talk about his school, about Locker High, and how he wished in a lot of ways we would go back to segregation. Because my grandfather would have been 100% down with where we clearly all are as black people. Like, bring it back, resegregate. But he would put down his paper and he would look me right in the eye and he would say, "Alec, all integration is done. All it has led to was the black community being rotted from the inside out because of 3 reasons. Number 1, them drugs." Except he wouldn't say them drugs or those drugs. He called it that crack. This was during, the crack epidemic and the crack era. He would also go on and on about it. He goes, what else we used to never see back when I was running my school was all these girls laid up pregnant, aka teen pregnancy. Now, y'all don't judge my grandfather. Just listen and don't judge, okay? He was a gentleman of his time. But he would talk about how you never used to see teenage pregnancy ever. It was a very rare occurrence. And number 3, what he would call shiftlessness. My school, young men went into work. They went into the trades. They went into their, occupations. So we got them into the military. There were no young men lying around. And y'all, I remember seeing the yearbook pictures. If I find some, I'm going to share them with y'all. My grandfather was so proud of his school. He used to call it our school. School was clean. It was spotless. There were parents there. Mothers were the ones that decorated for all the homecoming dances, y'all, and they had everything. He was so beloved. He was so respected as the principal of that high school, even the vice principal of the integrated high school, which was a bit of a nightmare thing because he should have been principal of that school, but because Mississippi and racism, they demoted him after integration and made him the vice principal. But that's one of the reasons he would go off and off and off and on about this. I wish so much that he was here today to hear this conversation and to see us as a black community be like, fine, we know our worth. We know how beautiful and magical and creative and influential we are. Segregation, okay, they not gonna do it. They're kind of addicted to us. I don't see white people even letting us have the peace of segregation. Y'all remember his name, Mr. Needham Jones Sr., who won the freaking Congressional Gold Medal because of his work with the Tuskegee Airmen. Maybe I can get my sister or y'all's Blade to jump on, because nobody can tell it the way my sister tells it about the way my grandfather used to talk about this. All right.
This is all I got from this video. And one thing I know is that it's going to be fine. Sometimes it gets tough before it becomes okay. One thing I know for sure is that I'm just amplifying the creators' voices because really they've said it all. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. No matter how hard it is, because as it stands, we all can see how the whole thing is becoming. Waking up every day to be provoked, because this is what they've been doing. They wake up every day and they want to provoke my people. But one thing I want us to know is that no matter what this administration, because they are trying so hard, no matter what they try, no matter what they do, no matter how they do it, one thing I know for sure is that Black people will eventually come out of this. Black people will thrive. Black people will. And I also hope that this is a great opportunity for us to come up with so many things, could have so many ideas that will help our community, ideas that will build Black communities, ideas that will make Black people to expand, right? I love the fact that the lady in green also gave the contents, how she narrated everything. Sometimes the people that gossip about you get so scared, right? When they are around you, they know why they are scared, because they know what they have said about you, which you do not know. So I am really being very optimistic that no matter how hard, no matter how hard it gets, definitely we be good, right? I don't know why I am so emotional, but because I have been watching all this play out, right, from beginning to this very moment, how you people were very specific with what you wanted, especially with the government and all that. It did not go your way. Some people said it is time for them to use their own personal hand to send themselves into coma, which they have actually sent themselves into coma, and they are also looking for a way to send other people into where I do not know. But I am so happy that you all understood the assignment, the fact that they are being so hard, the fact that they want to see you outside to probably do what they have in mind. I do not know what they have in mind. I love the fact that you all already know how they play out. You all already understand how the oppressors operate, right? Because when people do not, it's just the oppressors that will oppress you and then make you look like you are the oppressor. Yes. They are going to oppress you, press you, and then make it look like you are the one doing it. I really do hope that reconstruction happens. If you look back from where your ancestors stopped, because when you are continuing, I don't know how to say this, but please do not get emotional. I want you to know that your ancestors stopped somewhere. You know what they went through for you to have most of the things that you do have right now. It took them a whole lot. And sincerely speaking, you all are continuing from where your ancestors stopped. Maybe people that will enjoy all these benefits are not you, maybe your grandchildren, maybe your great grandchildren will be the ones to enjoy it. And I truly hope that your efforts, your fight, the strength that you give out, your labor will never be in vain. And I really do hope that in the end, that victory is achieved and you all can sit back and tell the story of how you conquered. Because with everything that I am seeing now, I don't even want to imagine what the ancestors that left the fight for you went through. And they are telling us that they are the most civilized people, that they are the cultured people, that it is in them that life is, it is in them that freedom is, it is in them that everything good is. It is only a stupid person that will believe that. And you know what? See, you can call me anything you want in the comment section. But you know what? I really do hope that these videos that come out here every day do not go in vain because Africans need to wake up. Majority of them do not know what you people are going through, do not know what you all have gone through. You see, there is a video that I saw today. I don't know why I am going into this African this thing, but I know if I get into it, I am going to rant so bad that I don't know. I saw a video today. He's probably a Nigerian or he's African, but probably Nigerian or somewhere. The video he made talking about how Africans, that if he ever sees anybody, especially the migrants, if he ever sees anybody saying anything about Trump, that he was really very serious about it. And in the comment section, that will actually tell you how brainwashed. See, do not tell me that you are African and I know what I am saying. I know what I am saying. I am African. I know. I did not grow up. I visit home and travel back to where I live. But I know what I am saying. They are brainwashed. And I am hoping that someday their brain will be out, they will watch their brain again. Because as it stands, I do not understand where they get their political point of view. I know I have been calm doing this video and I do not know why I am raising my voice. Let me relax. I really do hope that they wake up someday and understand how this politics work. And I have sat down several times and I spoke with some of my friends. I am happy also too that irrespective that some people do not understand history, some people are also learning the history and beginning to understand. Right? They do not understand. It hurts me. It hurts so bad. Because the day I will wake up and see history from the eyes of that might be my end. I'm sorry to say this, but this is the reality. The day I will wake up and see history from the eyes of the people that created the problem, my end is actually near. And this is what I tell them. If you, as an African person, because you probably feel like you cannot relate to Black people, and you are seeing history from a layman's eyes, and you refuse to learn, they are cooking up something for you somewhere in hell. Yeah. It will burn so bad. I will stop it here. I don't want to go so far. But I am hoping that our videos reach the upper, like, gets to the real people. And I hope that even the migrants that do not know a lot about Black history, I hope this, what is going on now, touches them, so it will touch them so bad that they will have no choice than to look for a way to learn history. Because this is a time that everybody's eyes need to be open. If I, that do not live in US, can tell you that I do not want to see history from the eyes of this person, why? Because my own people, that is the Igbos. For those that do not know, I always emphasize where I am from. I am from the Igbo in Nigeria. Yes, some of my people were also taken. So when I talk, I know what I am saying. And some other places in Africa, some of them were also from there taken. So if you all refuse to wake up and join the fight to make sure that my own people and your own people get the freedom that they are fighting for, you all will also now have freedom in Africa. I know what I am saying, because this is going to be a collaboration. But if you all do not believe that, I will stop at this particular place. Bye for now.